Hello, hello. And Happy New Year. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I hope a couple of more people will come. Haven't done a live stream in quite some while here on this channel. So I hope you are doing fine. And I hope, like I said, a couple of more people will join the party. Yes. Let's see, how should we do that? You will see me a little bit closer now so that I can nail the focus. There we are. Excellent. All right. How are you doing, everybody? I hope you had a great transition from 2022 into 2023. I did. I had, mostly. Very, very silent, as it tends to be in Japan. So essentially watching TV with my wife. Nothing special. The day before that, though, there was a lot of stuff going on. And that's what I would like to talk about today. And of course, as always, anything you would like to talk about. As you can see, I'm wearing glasses today, because I was working at the computer, and if I do that, usually I tend to wear glasses because they have blue light cut, which apparently is better for the eyes. Also, it's a Monday here in Japan, a holiday, national holiday, and I don't know, I guess it's a Monday too, wherever you are, probably. I guess there's, yeah. Is there any time zone where it's not yet Monday or already Tuesday? I don't know. I don't think so. So, welcome. And if you're here, thank you for tuning in, even though it's Monday. And probably for many people, it's the Monday where they have to work again after the holiday season. So thank you even more for that. John is here. Happy New Year. Yes, indeed, a Happy New Year. And indeed also an unusual day and time for live stream. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for being here. How is Australia? You have now 7 p.m. or so, right? It's getting, unfortunately, not colder here. So I'm in Nagano City, for those of you who don't know, and it is essentially snowless, more or less, like a very little remainders of snow every here and there. But all in all, it's been a little bit disappointing on the snow side so far. And yeah, the weather is not just not good enough. Like, for example, on Saturday, there's supposed to be rain, which could be snow if it was cold enough, but it's not. Yeah, we had a couple of days where it was mostly minus degrees, up to like -7 or so, but all gone. And John, it's summer now, right, in Australia? Nice. And of course, Happy Year to you too. Happy New Year. And what else? Yeah, I was thinking about doing a live stream at 10, which is usually what I do. 8 p.m. Eastern Australia. Okay, 2 hours, 22 degrees. Oh, nice. Yeah, in Japan, I always feel like in summer, I'm like, winter was nice. Would be great to have snow now. And then when the winter drags on into March and so on here in Nagano, not in Tokyo, but in Nagano, then it's like, yeah, slowly, it's okay to have it a bit warm again. And when I was living in Germany, I had one winter where I went to Tenerife, which is an island which is like on the same, which one is that? Same level as Tunisia, but belongs to Spain. And there was also like 20, 22 all day. I think it's mostly like that any time of the year. And that was a great, great thing in December. So Germany is gray and cold and not a lot of daylight. And then having this sun and all that stuff was so good for my mood. Yeah. Anyway, I bought tortilla chips because that's the only thing we have in the supermarket that is not, that is snack-wise a thing and not including sugar. Doesn't taste very, very, very like exciting though. So I have some sour cream. Anyway, let's talk about what happened in the end of last year, where I had Corona, unfortunately. So I had a great plan. So maybe some of you know I practice Aikido, which is a martial art. Look how small it is. Isn't that cute? And I train in Tokyo, but I only go there once a week or so. So I go to Tokyo once a week, train there, teach somewhere else in Yokohama, and then work and go back. And to make a bit like keep my face in the mind of the instructor, I presented him German beer, like 4 bottles or something. And I planned myself, okay, the next week come back. That would be the last training, so that he still remembers me. But unfortunately, 2 days after I had the training, I got Corona. And that was that. And that was like until after Christmas, almost New Year. And my symptoms, so I had fever first, the first 3 days or so, I think. Maybe 39 degrees or so. And then was like, I think the last day was in and out. Was it the last day? Probably. Like 36, 38, back and forth. And then was very exhausting. So I was a bit afraid of getting something like, what do you call it? Pneumonia or something like that. Didn't, thankfully, but essentially just lying there all the time, which was not fun. And then initially, whenever I get fever, I also like wherever something is painful, for example, my shoulder on a joint level or so, it gets multiplied. So in that case, I had back pain, which was not fun. So I tried to get rid of that. Also almost not moving, doing nothing, being isolated in a room over there. So not fun at all. And then slowly I got back, and I think 1 or 2 days after I tested negative, my friend Victor, friend of travel, came to visit in Nagano. And then together we went on a mountain. I think total was 10 days or so. Maybe. Or 11. And I was still super exhausted back then. So one thing is, of course, you have the disease and you get sick and exhausted and all that stuff. And the other thing is you don't move for 10 days. So your body isn't used to it anymore. However, it kind of worked. I was super tired in the evening. But yeah, it was nice. We went on a mountain called Izuna, which is still part of Nagano City. So Nagano City is very large in size. And there is an area that's called Togashi, which is famous for soba especially. So Togashi soba is like buckwheat noodles. And that's apparently also the place where these noodles originated from. But we did nothing with soba that day. We didn't eat them. We did go there to take pictures, and particularly pictures of a gate, a red gate that is on the way to a shrine, kind of in the middle, from the entrance to the shrine's grounds to the shrine, which is like 2 kilometers. So after 1 kilometer, there's the gate. And then there's a wonderful path after that gate, sided by Japanese cypress trees, which looks spectacular. Let me show you a picture. Wait a second. That's to May 2021 is a little bit too far in the past. November. Okay, getting there. Give me a second. December 28th. No, 29th. There we go. So maybe these shots that we took will feature in one of my upcoming videos, but it will not be about that specifically because I already made a video about that. Wait a second, let me share actually that video. Then you know what I'm talking about. One second. Hello, H9 Opolo, H7 Opolo. Sorry, I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. And welcome. So this is where we went again. So Victor's a photographer, and last time we also went there for a picture, but in his eyes it was not good enough or not perfect. So we went again. This is the gate. Oh, wait. Manual focus. All right. There we are. This is the gate. Oh, reflections. The gate, which looks nice, really nice. I mean, this was shot on an iPhone. It looks even better if it's not on an iPhone. And then, I'm just quickly out of focus. Then, give me another second. This is the path that leads from the gate to the shrine, which is super nice. And that day we had snow, which means, but a little bit icy snow. So small, kind of not the fluffy one, but a bit smaller, which means you see me a bit closer again. Wait a second. So this is for focusing, in case you're wondering, which is a bit too small. And then we had about 10 minutes or so. We were there for like maybe 4 or 5 hours. And then this time, or was it just, definitely 4. And in this time, we had 2 times 10 minutes or so, where it stopped snowing, the sun came out, and we had the lighting we have here in this shot. And I hope, my assumption is that Victor got something nice during this time frame. I think he hasn't edited the video from this day yet. The footage, the photos. That was the first day. Victor stayed for 2 days, actually. So next day we also did something, but first I need to get a little bit of energy. Yeah, that's true. I should be able to display this picture via streaming software, but I'm currently using the standard YouTube streaming thing. So it's not showing up. So I'm not capable to do anything. But, so I have a streaming software, but currently it's connected to my German channel because I live streamed that 2 days ago, and that's why it's not. You need to bear with this now. The day after, we went to a place I wanted to go to for years, and it's very close to my house. Oh, that with sound, we don't need sound. And it's, of course, here we go again, focus, the snow monkeys, which is 1 hour by car from my house. So pretty close as far as I'm concerned. So, and I've never been there. So it was about time. Wait a second, let me follow. Am I? Yes. And that's what we did. So went there by car, took about 1 hour or 1 hour and a bit because we stopped at a convenience store. We tried to be early. So on the website it says it opens at 9. However, there's also from the parking area to the place a 30-minute walk. And at 30 minutes, and then the place that opens at 9 is after these 30 minutes. So actually we arrived then at 9:30, a bit later than we would have hoped. So that meant also that already there were a couple of other people. Ideally, we would have liked to arrive early and then, have the empty view for a couple of minutes. John has heard the smell of monkeys is bad in summer. What's it like in winter? It's definitely there. I mean, not the monkeys themselves, but the poo, which is there scattered around. But well, I guess that's kind of to be expected. And so went and saw the monkeys. Again, stayed there for 3 or 4 hours. I took video mostly for the very, very biggest part. And Victor, I also made a video for the German channel there this time. And Victor took pictures, lots of pictures. Again, this day it didn't snow, but we would have liked that. Ideally you have the snow monkey relaxing in the hot spring. So that's the whole point of there, more or less, or why so many people come, because the monkeys go into a hot spring, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, apparently. So the ideal picture would have been the monkey with the red face, so great contrast, in the hot spring against a white backdrop of snow, a little bit of snow on the head and snow falling, fluffy snow. However, it didn't snow, so it wasn't ideal. I guess Victor has to go back. I actually already went back. I think, when was that? On Wednesday or something? Soon after. Definitely soon after. I went back with my son because, I told him about the monkeys, asked him if he didn't want to go. I wasn't really sure if I should take him because when we were there were a couple of kids that said, I'm cold. But I guess that's also because the parents wanted to take some pictures and it took too long or something. So for my son, then it was fine. Probably, so the walk from the car to the place itself is 1.6 kilometers. It's mostly almost level, a little bit downhill maybe for the biggest part, and then 2 flights of stairs, which are not too difficult, I would say. So my son was okay with that. If I had taken my daughter, my son is 6 now, my daughter is 3, would have been maybe more difficult. Not so great fun. But yeah, worked out well. He liked the monkeys, and he especially liked the souvenir shop where he got a little plush monkey with magnets in his hands. And that was on the 30th of December, then 31st. So after that, of course, we went back to Nagano, had sushi. I couldn't drink, of course, because I'm driving. And then said goodbye for last year. This year happened, and then, when was that? No, on Wednesday. So we didn't go on Wednesday, but on Wednesday, another YouTube friend came who visited Japan. He's from Europe. And then together we went to Matsumoto. We met in Matsumoto, actually, and saw the castle there. So let me show a picture. Show you a picture of Matsumoto Castle. Which is also pretty nice. So it looks great. I mean, it looks great, but it's really hard to take a great picture. Good picture, easiest thing in the world. Great picture. So it has, really hard. It has, there's a classic design, classic motif here. Wait a second. Where are we? There we go. Oh. It's a classic motif. There's a red bridge, which people are not allowed to walk on, so it's always empty, and the castle. Super nice, and it has a moat, also nice. However, that's only a good picture. It's not an excellent picture. That's really hard. I think I've seen one or so. It's really not easy. And that was Matsumoto. So we went there, and after that, we went to Nagano. He tried to make to see for a video if it's possible from Tokyo, where he stayed, to have a day trip to both Matsumoto, see the castle there, and then go to Nagano and see the temple here. And that's what he did. And it's totally possible, especially when you're not occupied making a YouTube video. So it was getting dark in the end, but it's already getting dark at like 6:30 here now. And then we went on to find a nice izakaya, Japanese-style bar. And we went in one. It was not ideal, so we went in a separate room. The staff didn't seem to be too happy to have people there. Foreigners there, who knows? I mean, I want to open that box, but Oh, John has seen some wonderful photos of the castle at night. I see. Well, maybe I just haven't seen them yet. Yeah, at night, it's, I think, usually illuminated. So, yeah, that might make it easier or harder, depending on what you want to achieve with your picture. If you have a big exposure time, then it's terrible. And if not, then it's great. And back to the izakaya. So first one was not so great. Then we went to another one, which was pretty packed, where we had to wait a couple of minutes, 10 or so, and then we sat at the counter. And that was nicer. In Japan, there's something called nomi hodai, all you can drink. And there it's time limited usually, and there it was 1,313 yen, which is like $10 for 80 minutes of all you can drink order and 100 minutes of drinking. So, and then you need to order at least one dish. So we had the two of us 2 dishes then, even though we were already full from the previous place. And then enjoyed that, had five drinks each, because break even is like 3 or 2.5 or so. So we tried to get the best out of it. It was nice place, nice stuff, young stuff. And no, I haven't been to the US yet. I don't know if I will ever go. At one point in time, I almost went because my company wanted to send me to a conference there in San Francisco, but then I didn't want to go and send somebody else. And where was I? Izakaya. Yeah, was fun. And one great thing, the other guy, he's from Gibraltar, so that's like a small part, the very southernmost part below Spain in Europe, very close to Morocco, Africa, and it belongs to Great Britain. And they also have monkeys, which are apparently the closest relatives to the Japanese monkeys, albeit way more aggressive, dangerously aggressive. Oh, interesting. They don't like San Francisco, but they have a Japantown there. All right. That's good. I think the only place in Germany where I'm from where there is a Japantown is Düsseldorf. And I've never been there. I mean, Munich, where I'm from, there's like 2 or 3 Japanese stores where there's limited selection of food and so on. There are a couple of Asia stores, which is, of course, then even more limited what is actually from Japan. A couple of ramen restaurants, which are so-so. I think the good one closed. I don't know. Servus. Ja. Schön, dass du da bist. I think the good one closed, but they have another subsidiary somewhere there, but it's only open in the evening or something like that. I forgot. And some sushi places, but I haven't tried that all in years, so I don't really know if it's any good. But Düsseldorf seems to be that place in Germany if you're interested in Japan stuff. And there are also sometimes like there's a Japan festival in Munich, and there's even a Japanese tea house in the English Garden in Germany. That's multicultural. Yeah, and so this guy from Gibraltar, he always brings a couple of postcards from his house, from his home. This time he had monkeys. And he said whenever he goes to an izakaya, he usually enters alone. He's a single traveler, traveling alone. So he goes there, and then when he breaks a conversation so to somebody, usually you're placed at the counter. Then if he breaks a conversation and it works well, then he hands this person the postcard, and that opens a whole new conversation, and also other people's usually join. So he writes something on the spot on the card and hands it over. This time he gave it to the staff. Next to us was a nice guy who was very drunk already, had like 7 drinks or so in his nomi hodai. He was from Gunma. It's the neighboring prefecture, which can be fast and easy to reach by Shinkansen if it's like the big town there, or pretty far away, like 4 hours, 5 hours. John says there's a Japanese restaurant in my town, Ballarat, and we only have 100,000 people. There you go. Yeah, I mean, this town has 370 and also has lots of Japanese restaurants. And even one, no, not a German restaurant. I think that's in the neighboring town. I've never been there. Will never go. And yeah, they have like the sausages essentially and beer or something. My wife went there, I think she said, and it was terrible. So I won't. Does Ninja Monkey, the guy I went that visited me, speak Japanese limited. He can read some hiragana, I think. Not terrible. and speaking, so he can order and so on. It's not like deep political conversation or so. But yeah, and he's not afraid of using what he has. I think that's very beneficial for him. Like for me, I'm way more introverted than he is, I think. But on the other hand, he's also a teacher. So I guess it kind of comes with the job that sometimes you have to get stuff out of people. But really, I don't know. And that was my new year. And start into this year, end of the year, all that stuff. So I wrote somewhere down what I wanted to, there we are, say. Covered most of it. Excellent. So according to this counter, we have 3 now. I see. So probably this time and day of the week is not the best. Well, just happened to work out because the family was not here when I scheduled this. Now they are. I thought that they would come later. And it's a holiday here. Which doesn't mean that I'm not working. I just was at a point with work where I said, okay, switch task. Take a walk, go shopping, then make YouTube. But let's see. Now, YouTube, usually, I used to keep the live streams online for 48 hours or so, then unlist them, and they would only be accessible through the live stream playlist. But now YouTube has changed its organization, and now we have the long form content, shorts, and live streams on separate tabs. So probably it will stay online longer, and other people will be able to see that. Ninja Monkey sprechen ze Japanese. Sorry, that maybe Dutch. And yeah, a bit. How's your work going? Is John asking. So I need to acquire a new contract right now. But we'll see. So from that perspective, I need to do something, which is part of the job, of course, but always a bit, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking or unnerving or so, but it's kind of annoying. On the other hand, the level of stress I had in the last months compared to previously, it's no comparison. So it's way more relaxed for me. And I think also for my family, for the biggest part, especially for the kids, because when I was employed and always under pressure and stress, usually, of course, that also translates to private life, being a bit more nervous, more easily aggressive to the kids, or not aggressive, but stricter. Don't have so much resources to cope with whenever they do what I don't want them to do, and so on. So certainly, from that perspective, it's fantastic. But we'll see how it continues. What I'm doing right now is I make an AI app. And I don't know if it works, probably works, but we will see. So I'm not talking about what it is yet. Yeah. And sometimes it is with stress. For example, when I wrote my bachelor's thesis, it was pretty stressful, but on a short term of time, so like I think 4 months or so. And then I finished it, I handed it in and was done. And then I all of a sudden felt how stressful that actually was, like all the weight lifted from your shoulders, as they say. But with work, this time it wasn't. It should be closer so that you see me. This time, no, wait a second. All right. This time it wasn't. It was kind of a slow thing. And just when I actually got angry at my son, I realized how this was the first time in months. And previously it would be like weekly or so. So that was a great improvement. Now we need to call them chips. Don't call them crisps. These ones we probably would call tortillas. But yeah, chips. Kartoffelchips, potato chips, or crisps. Like Americans, yeah. There you see. Either we have it from you, or you have it from us, or somebody else. Where in America are you from? Dag and Dog. What do you have your degree in computer science? It's called computer science and management or information. I forgot the exact term. But so it's like a mix of computer science and management, essentially, from the content. Both. Yeah, that's that. Bachelor of Science, it is. And then I started. I come back to that. Born in New York City, raised in California, now in Maine. Wait a second. I can't place Maine in my head's map, so I need to Google that now. Maine. Okay. Pretty northern as far as the US goes. I see. Maine is the oddball. Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's like I know where New York is, where California is, and where Texas is. That's about my geographical knowledge of the US. So for me, probably these are the oddballs, as in I know where they are. And then when people come with cities, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know where any of that is. I mean, sometimes I have like a feeling that's probably cold or not. Where were we? Computer science. Yeah, I also studied master, and I finished everything except for my thesis. Excuse me. Then business went too well. So I started my master in 2010 and my business in 2011. And then from when I would have written my thesis, business went too well, and I paused the master, which I still am pausing. I don't know if I will ever come back. Maybe not. I understand the foreign perspective. New York and Cali are famous. Yeah, kind of. Especially like from tech, of course, San Francisco. Some friends then are there and so on. Yeah, probably I could also like Washington State. I know where it is, and Michigan, and yeah, maybe New Mexico or something, but almost nothing. Hawaii, I know where Hawaii is, and Alaska. There we go. I mean, on the other hand, I can probably place more states of the US than US citizens can place countries, states of Germany, right? So there we go. Dog and Dog has his bachelor's in chemical engineering, but decided not to do my master's, at least not yet. Yeah, why not? For me, it was I didn't really have anything else. I think it was the logical progression for me to do masters. Didn't want to work yet, and for especially like these kind of jobs or education levels, like information science and business, or computer science and business, they often go then in like consulting or something like that, and that doesn't sound fun. Or SAP development and stuff. Ugh. From my perspective. And yeah, what's good? I think starting the masters, having this perspective, then seeing something I would actually like to do, doubling down on that. Fortunately, the technology became prominent and well used, so that worked. And yeah, facts. By the way, if you saw fax here in Japan, so for a second I was confused there. It's not facts, it's fax machines, which are still widely used. At one point I had to send one to Amazon, a fax. to confirm my business credit card or something. They wrote my name wrong. There's an CH there, and they thought it's an L for some reason on my last name. And I think there are only like 10 letters, a space of 10 letters on the business credit card from this company. And since my name has like 20, could only use the last name, which is 9 letters. So that's all they had. And it's like, yeah, that sorry doesn't match. You have to send a fax. Are YouTube Shorts monetized? Do you earn anything from them? Absolutely, yes, they are. Oops, they don't need audio here. They are, and they are drastically so. Wait a second. So take a look at my content. What's a successful short we have? There we are, 38,000 views, which earned a whopping 9 yen, which is like 7 cents. So there we go. That's probably, I don't know how that, I don't know where it's coming from. Let me see advanced mode. Maybe it's telling me. Maybe it's not. So I guess that's coming from YouTube. What's the premium thing? Because so I think they plan. I think they haven't rolled it out to make like proper shorts monetization. But in order to be eligible for that, so think about that. For long form content, you need 1,000 subscribers and 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time over a year. And for this one, I think you need like, what's that? 20 million views over the last 3 months or something in shorts to be eligible. So while shorts generate way more views for me also, at least twice as many usually, and they're way easier to make, so the time to view ratio is much better than for all the other long form content. Money wise, it's nothing at all to write home about. Then again, this short I was speaking about now, which with the 38.9 thousand subscribers, also brought in 38.9 thousand views, also brought in 222, nice number, 222 new subscribers. That's not bad. That being said, that's kind of an exception. Usually, shorts have a very short time span where they are being viewed, like go on a little bit, bam, big spike, up to wherever. Could be 1,000, could be 20, could be 100, could be 1 million. And then that's it. But this one had the spike and then gained a little bit more, and recently even more and more and more and more. So in the first of the first day, it has like 5,000 views, and now it gained up to now almost 39,000. So very interesting shorts, I think, and easy. It's not a nice way for me to experiment with different directions because it's so little investment. All right, gotta make some breakfast for proper mukbang. Be right back. All right, monkeys, mountains, and mukbang. There we go. Should have taken this as a title. Mukbang. I have to Google what that is. I've heard it before, but I actually don't. I think I've never eaten it, or not consciously enough that I could identify. Yeah, so that's about shorts. Currently, I think I have no short finished, but the previous video I published about Narajuku, that was not very successful, unfortunately. I will break that down into shorts, and then we see what we get from that. Maybe obviously then I will link to the long form video. Maybe we get a couple of views. We'll see. Do you prefer Amazon Japan or Germany? Initially, I thought Japan is terrible, but now I like it better, I think. Then again, I don't use Germany so much. I mean, in Germany, where I used to live in Munich, there was same-day delivery. That was nice. That doesn't exist here in this place now. But yeah, if you have Prime, then it's fine. One thing I really don't like about Neither Nor is I had Prime in Germany and in Japan, and I wanted to log in. No, and then I canceled. Yeah, so I had both, and then I canceled the Prime account in Germany because I'm not there anymore. And I think they raised prices. Yeah, they raised prices there. So I canceled that. Then I wanted to log into Prime Video on my phone in the app, and then it said, "Do you want to try Prime?" Because I used the same email address. So they couldn't differentiate that there was this email address used for multiple different regions, one of which had Prime and should have been used for that, or there should have been some language location select or something. So I can't use that app. That's very annoying. And only can use it on the desktop website. That's not great. Amazon, please change that. If one of you works for Amazon, please change that now. Apart from that, what's better? I don't know. I mean, here, what I usually get is things like I need a new monitor, so I check there for reviews and so on. Then maybe I get it here. If I need something like a camera, for this one, and not this one in the background here, this one here. I went to the store here, and then I said, I am interested in this camera, but on the internet, it's like $400 cheaper. Look here. And I also confirmed with their phone, and then, yeah, we can match that. And then they said, but it takes 6 months to deliver because it was sold out everywhere. I think it still is. So I said, yeah, okay, I will consider that. And then I bought it used for even less. Yeah. So if you want to buy used camera gear, lenses, you can do that on Amazon. I got my lens on Amazon. Still super pricey, but cheaper than buying it new. And if it says as new or so, it's usually as new. And yeah, they have pictures, description, and so on. And then another one where I bought the camera is mapcamera.com, which they really know what you look at when looking at the camera. Like it has pictures of the sides and so on, where there could be scratches and so on. And this one had like a scratch, like this, somewhere at the bottom. I think I haven't found it yet. Or, I mean, among the scratches I added, it's like, so essentially it's like as new, but you get it, I don't know, like $800 cheaper because somebody A, used it once, and B, scratched it a little. And this map camera thing also has a physical store in Tokyo, which I didn't know until recently. Maybe I should go there. I would love to get a longer lens, if you know what it means. So this lens I have here is a 16 to 35 millimeter, which is relatively wide. So it means like very wide YouTube style kind of vlogging. You hold this like this, right? Maybe I'll show you. So this is kind of 16-ish. And then here we go into closer to 35 or so. Where were we? Like here. That's what this is capable of. So it looks great, autofocus and so on, fantastic. But having a longer lens and being able to essentially take pictures of something that is further away, that would be very helpful every now and then. For example, if you're taking pictures or video of monkeys. Do you find used electronics on Amazon Japan are usually in good condition? As in the US, this isn't always the case. Yes, always. So I had no bad experience except for once. Let me show you. And this was advertised as new. And then I checked what the description of new is, and it kind of matches, but still. So that's what is that? RX100 Mark V camera from Sony. Here. And you can see, so this was already there. So these kind of scratches were there. And then this. Oopsie. Focus, here we are. Now I need to get closer. So can you see that there's like a gap here? Because this is a little bit bent. This right here is bent to the top a bit. That was also already there. I mean, it's working. It just doesn't look so great. And that was a bit, especially this part here was a bit disappointing. Especially from what I have. No battery inside. Especially from what I had experienced with Amazon previously. So not all perfect, but if it's as new, it should be fine. And this camera, I use it only a couple of times, unfortunately. I should sell it, but I haven't, or give it to somebody. The thing is, I thought about giving it to my siblings, one of them, maybe my sister or so. But the thing with Sony cameras bought in Japan is they have Japanese menus and you cannot change them. So there's no language selection menu. And for some of them, you can, like this one, you can still like kind of jailbreak them, so to say. You lose warranty, but you can change the language. But for example, for this one here, which is also a Sony, you cannot do that anymore. So you're essentially stuck with your Japanese menu. I show you. Japanese menu camera. And of course, if you want to give it to somebody who doesn't speak Japanese, that's a bit unfortunate. Or doesn't read Japanese. Oopsie. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Yeah, not exactly something that you can sell easily on an international market. It's of course intended from Sony, obviously. But, well, the other brands, this one is a Panasonic that you're currently seeing through. They don't do that. I can change to Japanese, to English, to anything. Just Sony. A little bit annoying, I must say. Right, let's make this wider again. Oh! Thank you for the support. Hello, Janis. Is that 14 million annual a good salary for Tokyo? Greetings from Rotterdam. Your channel is amazing. Thanks a lot, Balma. Greetings to the Netherlands. Yeah, that's good, I would say. Depends, of course, what you're doing. If it's engineering, that's fine. If it's management, depends on your level. Of course, also depends on the company. I mean, salary is not the only thing, but looking just at the salary, that should be fine. And also, you should be fine living in Tokyo. Definitely, if you're alone and also with a family, it's okay. Depends, of course, also on your level. If you're very senior, it might, even then, probably it's fine. So if you tell me your level and the job, then I can tell you. And maybe, yeah, you don't have to tell the company name, but maybe then I can tell you if it's good. A friend of mine had a phone from Thailand with menus only in Thai. He doesn't know any Thai. Unfortunately, he has replaced it. Fortunately, not unfortunately. Fortunately, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, another thing is this. Again, for the sound. You cannot turn this off. My phone is in silent mode. By the way, this is how you look like. You cannot turn this off, this sound. That's a Japanese thing. If you log into, I don't know if you have to put in a foreign SIM card, but you definitely have to log into a foreign network. Then it switches itself off. Then you can do that. Oh no, it's not in silent mode. No, it is. Proof still makes the sound. So yeah, that's the thing with assholes in Japan taking pictures under skirts of women. 35, alone, hardware engineer, level T3. I don't know what T3 means, but assuming normal career, that sounds about right. I mean, I don't know exactly what hardware engineers, if they get a bit more than So usually like, let's say EC system software engineers or so on. Okay. Senior to principal. Okay. Okay, maybe. For principal, I could say you maybe more. For senior, that's fine. Probably. But I mean, no harm in getting a little more offers and maybe asking them if there's a bit more room. And of course, also ask them if the bonus is included in that calculation or not, and what the average bonus is, and so on. And what, like, how long it usually takes to be promoted and how you get promoted. Usual stuff. No? So in Japan, I don't know in other countries, I think compared to Germany, in Japan, the bonus is a pretty big part of the payment, usually. So then if you would get 14 million, then maybe 4 or 5 million would be bonus, maybe 6. And then if you have a disagreement with your manager or so, or something really doesn't work out, then that's not fun. Chris from Q is here from New Zealand. Welcome. How then in New Zealand it must be like 9 p.m. or so, 10? Dog and King asked about junior entry-level engineers. Depends. Could start like 5 million, I would say. All included. Just waiting for the certificate of eligibility to start the visa process. Right. Yeah. Depends on how big of a part the bonus payment is. For me, that was also the case when I first started. Was included. Yeah. I feel like it's hard to say that's the actual payment if it's possibly not. So I would say I would calculate the payment based on the minimum bonus you get. Usually you don't get no bonus for legal reasons in Japan. Yeah. Only if you're like not working, like paternity leave or something. 11 p.m. Wow. Already 4 hours difference. Didn't know. In New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand, but I like Lord of the Rings, so obviously I should go. I have maybe not friend, but somebody I met every now and then here in Tokyo, who is a German who became New Zealander. New Zealand, do you say that? New Zealander? New Zealand citizen. Don't want to hijack the chat. Thanks for the info. No problem at all. For me, it was like 3 people right now, so that's totally fine. Like, it's a great interaction rate if like 66%, 67% are interacting. That being said, probably when we are at 1 hour, so I need to stop because my wife is, I promised my wife. New Zealander or Kiwi, of course, Kiwi, yeah. Yeah, he became New Zealander. He has a very, like me, very obvious German accent, but yeah. And he came to Japan every now and then for a conference where I met him. Yeah. What else should we talk about, friends? Tell me. How was your new year so far? 2023. Stressful, relaxed, happy, sad? I started to follow you when you had the Japanese house video. More of those, please. Which one? The first one, like 5 years ago? Or the one in Kyoto in the end of 2021? The thing with house videos is I don't have so many houses. So the first one actually was in Nagano, there are way more houses being built than there are apartment buildings, at least from the area-wise. In Tokyo, that's not the case. So there are things like model house parks. So a company that builds houses builds their example house, which is of course lavishly big and super, like essentially if you had a lot of money, you could build that. And that's why I went for the first one. So we went there and looked, and my wife talked to them. I asked if I could take a picture, and yeah, she had unfortunately to bear with them and get all like whatever, talk to them. And I took the pictures. I think I had like 10 minutes or less of footage, and then squeezed that into the 7-minute or so video. That was quite ambitious, but worked out well in the end. John says, normally only 1 hour ahead of Japan and Australia, but we have daylight savings time, daylight saving in summer, so it's 2 hours at present. I presume New Zealand also has daylight saving, which it has. I see. Yeah, and the other one, the other house in Kyoto is from a friend who offers this like not like Airbnb or hotel, like not through Airbnb, but something like that. And he allowed me to film there. Probably win-win. House video usually does well, more or less. I think it has like 10,000 views, so it's not a viral hit or anything. But yeah, still, like having 10,000 people view this house is probably good for him. And this was like, I stayed there like 2 or 3 days and asked him on the second to last day. And he said, okay. So I had like the morning from, I don't know, until 11 a.m. or so to shoot everything. That was stressful. And I was almost late, I think. Yeah, so when I left, I took some outside shots, and then already came the cleaning guy. Yeah. All right. I'm considering moving to the countryside. I can work fully remotely. By the way, what is your Japanese language level? All right. Yeah, I mean, countryside can be nice, can be annoying, of course. Depends on what kind of person you are, I guess. It can be nice to be able to go out with your colleagues or so. So if you're closer to an office, if that exists, could be helpful. Also to meet people, of course. If there is more, there are also more people. But then again, you could also maybe integrate yourself better in the village life and so on, if you are that kind of person. For me, I'm in like Nagano is countryside for people from Tokyo, because Tokyo is 100 times bigger, but 100 times Tokyo divided by 100 is still like 360,000, so it's not small by any means. And anything can be reached by foot, more or less, although most people have cars. So definitely, most likely, will need a car if you do that. Yeah. My Japanese language level, I don't know, like conversational or so. Probably not business. Maybe a bit. Depends on the area. Obviously, like with my wife and family, it's probably fluent because that's what I do every day. But since I'm not in a business setting anymore, probably it's deteriorating a lot. I haven't taken a JLPT, if that's the question. Chris from Q met Paolo from Tokyo when he was here in 2018. Same reason I started following him, his video in a Japanese house. I see. Yeah, Paolo, he is a hustler, I would say, for the biggest part. I mean, that's why I admire most about his videos, that he's really almost every week on Saturday, 9 a.m. There's a new video. For years, except for like family is sick or something. Yeah. And then, of course, he had this big hit with the Day in the Life video series and picked up on that and produced more and still is. And he's doing tremendously well. He might be the biggest or second biggest or so foreign YouTuber in Japan now. Angela from International Me is from New Zealand. Oh yeah, that's true. She is in the countryside, Akita, right? At the moment, yeah. I mean, you can go to a language school maybe if you're interested in that. I don't know the details. I just saw, I follow this account on Instagram, and I saw it's already snowing and stuff when here's nothing. So I think like, yeah, that's nice. And it also seems like they organize a lot of activities not just learning and being in the classroom, but getting to try, I don't know, iaido or something like sword work, this and that, and cooking and going out in festivals and stuff. That's, I think, a great package. I don't know the pricing, but from what I see, it looks like that. Do you have plans to stay here for the foreseeable future, or do you think like, okay, let's do 3 years, then go back? Families at home, friends at home. Or is it for you more? I mean, Chris from Q. Is it for you more? Japan is my dream country. I want to live there and die there. Tomorrow I'll be going to Tokyo again. First time this year. We love Japan. I see. Lots of Japanese homestay students all over Japan. I see. What about skiing? Are there good options near Nagano? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't ski or snowboard, unfortunately, I guess. But yeah, there are lots of snow areas, snowy and ski resort areas around here, like Nozawa Onsen, Togari Onsen. Yeah, and all the classics like Hakuba and so on. From Fukuoka or to Sapporo in the past, I see. We had a student from Nagano. She loves skiing. Yeah, many do that. My wife also used to snowboard. She hasn't done it in a couple of years, but yeah. I mean, I never tried. I skied when I was young, as in like 8. It was so boring. Like did it once, now that's boring. I'm gonna go back onto my sleigh, bobsleigh or so, and easier. And yeah, unfortunately, I guess. I mean, my image is also I would try skiing and then I break everything, like both legs at once or so. Coming back to going to Tokyo again. So tomorrow I will go there. First time this year. I have a stiff neck since yesterday. I don't know why. I hope I will be able to kind of fix that before that, since I will be teaching Aikido class in Yokohama. Usually, what I do on Tuesdays is I train 3 times. So once my own training here in the morning, then I like for me alone personally. Then I go to Tokyo and train there once in the main dojo, and then to Yokohama and teach. But tomorrow I will probably not go to the other person's training. And then on Wednesday I would also train, but I don't know. We'll see. Any other hobbies you have? Gaming or sports? I practice Aikido. Like my 3 things are like IT, YouTube, and Aikido. Apart from family, obviously. Speaking of which, I promised my wife to keep it at 1 hour, and we are now at 1 hour 3. So with that, thanks a lot for your time today. It was my pleasure. I think I will do a couple of more streams. A friend, Ninja Monkey, I mentioned before, suggested that when I go to places, I should just take 1 hour of the day and make a stream and show you around. So maybe that will happen. Haven't decided yet. Okay, one more question. How is a Japanese mother-in-law like? I don't really know. I guess mine, at least, is relatively free or so. Not too stiff when it comes to expectations, kind of. We have clashes every now and then, as I guess it's normal. But yeah, it's kind of okay, I guess. I also never had a non-Japanese mother-in-law, so it's really hard to say. Ticket zur Milchstraße. Why is this stream quality so insanely high? I don't know. Must be because of the audience. That's all I can say about it. All right. With that, good night. Never stop making videos. Okay, understood. Why are glasses so cool? Yeah, that's because they were super expensive. But now they're like, I mean, I had previously also expensive glasses. Well, okay. I bring this story, then I leave. One, these are harder to break for my kids. Two, they actually had glasses that when I'm outside in the sun, they darken. And I tried that, went outside. That's terrible. Like sunglasses, I can adjust it, right? But then I can see. And so on. I'm like, no, I don't want it. I want normal glasses. So I went back, and fortunately, within the first 3 months, I can change the glasses to my liking. So that was still included in the price. Anyway, that's that. Thank you all for your time today. We'll have another live stream soon, I guess. Until then, take care. I need to press 2 buttons. Take care.